was wanting to put something in the world that the grown-up gets as much out of it as the kids do. More, arguably. I really believe that something special happened with this story. We could not believe how many people jumped on board to help us bring this thing to the screen.
It is the most amazing thing to be in a position now where we can bring this to the screen.
It's whimsical and it's fun, but it's also got a lot of heart. My goal is to make you cry as much as you laugh.
Can't just run off.
They've got a pop rocket!
Really? When you ran off, I had to leave Lily alone. Lily?
Lily? He's a bucket of feathers.
Hi, get up. The black carriage is here.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. I'm Chris Wall. I'm the executive producer on the Wingfeather Saga animated series. Thanks for taking time out of your afternoon. This is my good friend.
Hey, I'm Andrew. I'm the author of the books and one of the executive producers along with Chris.
And you are sitting in front of a sweet map. I'm sitting in front of my map. So we both got our maps.
My
we
map,
both know where we are.
Is the original, though. This is the actual
Mine,
original. Just saying.
Totally
just saying.
Is it actually painted?
Yeah, it's all hand painted by Justin Gerard, who illustrated the first book. Yeah, he's awesome.
Was that back? It's like 2007 or 8?
It would have been whenever we kickstarted the fourth book, and we kind of had all these stretch goals. And one of them was a hand painted map that we would turn into a poster. But secretly, I was like, I want to keep the map. I want to keep the real one. So it's a perk. It's an author perk.
Well, we're so glad to be on with you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Last week was so much fun. Revealed the first part of our cast. Today we have part 2. Can't wait.
Oh no, Andrew's still here though. So hopefully Chris will be back in a minute. I know that here's the crazy thing, everybody. Chris is we're in the middle of this crazy heat wave in Nashville right now. Like all these records are being broken, and the air conditioner went out. Ha ha! In his office. So he was just showing us a little bit ago that the temperature in his room was 90 degrees. So he is just muscling through this thing right now. And he said that the Wi-Fi had been acting funny too. So here I am doing something. And I don't have the order of service in front of me, so I'm not exactly sure how we want to do this. I can kill a little bit of time. I can tell you what we were doing today. Let me see. Is there a run that I can look at, you guys? Ryan? I don't see it. 1 second, everybody. Sit tight. We'll be with you in a minute. Here, I'll tell you about the map while we're waiting. Let me do this. I'm going to unplug my computer and show you this map. This is the original Wingfeather map. Our story happens right here in Glipwood, but Justin Gerard did an amazing job painting this. There's all these fun little things, all these little dragons swimming around in the sea, and we actually used this map when we were making the short film that many of you helped us kickstart. Hey Chris, I'm telling them about the story of the map. Yeah. And yeah, so Keith Lango, who's our animation genius, he actually I think it's called extruding, he made the mountains actually 3D, and so that there's this cool camera flyover of that map, which is really awesome. But it was the first time I kind of got the sense that the Wingfeather world was going to be something that we could actually step into. So that's incredible. That's how you kill time while the executive producers Wi-Fi.
So a bunch of you right now are experiencing a hot time in the country. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's good and hot. And currently, the air conditioning went out in my home office here, and so I believe it's 91 degrees. You'll see I'm a little shiny, and I think it may be taxing the room. It may be melting down to get the room. I don't know. So last week, I was saying we introduced the casting, and we got to introduce Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel from Little Mermaid, is playing Nia. And she shared that with her fans, and we did with ours, and that got a huge reaction, which is really exciting. And we have more today that you won't even believe it. Can't believe it. We also have some cool character designs that you haven't seen yet. We're going to share with you. We've got Nicholas and Garrett back to talk about those. We got some new animation you haven't seen. And then, of course, a super fun announcement about our first merchandise, which if you had some people that watched last week, you probably have an idea of what we're about to show. So that's coming. But before we get into that, Andrew, let's talk about release. We would love to hear in the comments. So if you would, hop in the comments and tell us, how frequently would you like us to release episodes? So we're having a lot of discussion about this. Like, is it weekly? Is it every 2 weeks? Is it once a month? Is it every 6 months? That's too long. But, like, what's that? Or do you do the dump thing where you put them all up? We have 6 episodes in season 1. We want to make that, a nice, fun thing for families to gather around and get to watch each episode and talk about them and all that kind of fun thing. But what's your favorite timing? So hit in the comments and tell us what you think is your favorite release schedule. Andrew, shows you watch, like what do you think for your family?
If it is a new show, I kind of get a kick out of the fact that they make me wait. Like if it's like, if I'm watching something that came out a few years ago, I enjoy binging it if we're going to do it. It's nice to have the option to watch another episode if everybody's in the mood. But man, there's something really fun about like the anticipation that builds when you wait week by week. So that's going to be my vote.
Okay. Well, I like the week by week. I kind of like the every other week. So in between, Gray agrees. The idea that like you get a week extra to process, and it kind of stretches the experience, right? Where it's like you get, instead of a 6 weeks, you get 12 weeks. You get longer to kind of talk about it with your friends and watch it again. My favorite is where you release it all right now. Oh, believe you me. So one thing you're all going to learn is animation takes a long time. It's a long rolling thing, which, to segue in, animation does take a long time, and we're going to talk a little bit later with our episode director, John, about Season 2. We are so excited. We opened up back in November, actually, a pledge campaign to say, hey, we're thinking about another round of offering. We did, many of you know, set records. It was incredible last year, where we raised $5 million by selling shares in our company, in Toothy Cow Productions, to make the Wingfeather Saga. And so we said, hey, we want to keep going and get season 2. We'll talk more about that later. And so we put this pledge thing up. We're up to 2.9. We're closing in on 3 million in pledges. And I'll be clear, we're not allowed to tell you when or if that is going to go live by the Security Exchange Commission of the United States, of which Andrew and I are very careful to obey their rules. So we can't tell you. It's a secret when that's going to go live. What I can tell you is that we're not allowed to offer any shares in our company any sooner than 12 months. So once a year, we can offer shares in the company. So if we want to do that, you can figure that out. And I will tell you, we would love to have Season 2 available for you guys by the fall of next year. Wouldn't that be incredible? So if you're interested in joining along the journey, get a place in line, that sort of thing, express interest, you can go to angel.com/wingfeather and tag that. And I saw somebody that just pledged somewhere $2,500. Thank you so much. It's buying shares in our company. It's helping us to do the thing we're doing to make a cool show for you all. And we've got a lot of really wonderful people. I think, Andrew, last I looked, we have a staff of right at 70. Is it 75 people, something like this, that work for us?
That is amazing.
It's so cool. Putting this art into the world, right? That's awesome. So anyways, if you're not getting updates from us, if you're not hearing from us about our progress and all we're doing, hop on wingfeathersaga.com, and you can sign up there. There'll be a little pop-up that says, hey, give us your email. We don't spam you. I trust me. We just send you info on this great show that we all love. Okay. All right. Shall we talk about the new things, Andrew? We did a survey with a bunch of folks, and guess what their number one thing they wanted to see from us? T-shirts. That's what they want. They want the T-shirts, Andrew. And so what we did is we went right to Garrett Taylor, our art director, and I think we're going to have Garrett join us now. Garrett, are you in here? And we said, Garrett, can we make some T-shirts? Garrett's like, I love shirt stuff. In fact, Garrett, oh, look, what are you... He's got a Wingfeather Saga. He was wearing it last week, too.
I love that shirt.
Yeah, there it is.
It is so cool.
Tell us about designing the shirts. And we've got not one or two. We've got 3 different shirts. Tell us about designing them. And oh, there they are now. Check it out.
Yeah, this was an exciting task. It was, I think it's just part of our pop culture and childhoods and just kind of our fashion these days to have T-shirts that we'd actually want to wear. I think that was one of our biggest goals, is to have something that wasn't so flashy or crazy that you would just, it fit the model, but it would just stay in your closet. We wanted something that people would actually want to wear from various different age groups, and yet really tied into the story as well. So we decided to go with this one, the dragon look, and this was done by, look at that, the whole family.
And what's this? What's happening here? Oh my God.
That's okay. So good.
This is Paul. Some of you guys have met before. She has one right there. And then Charlotte, some of you may remember Charlotte was the voice of Lily on the short film. She's been a part of this journey for a long time. And look, we're all wearing our new shirts. This is so good. Andrew, I'm so sorry. The Toothy Cow one did not get here in time. You were supposed to have that one, but we didn't have it. I'm sorry. But
I have a feeling that's going to be the big seller.
Yeah. So let's see.
Everybody wants a Toothy Cow.
Yeah. See those shirts again. The 3 shirts. They're so fun. I can't wait to see people getting these. But these shirts are. Do you like them? Are they
I
good
love
quality?
them for sure. I love the green. I think that's such a pretty shade.
Garrett,
So cool.
who designed this one? The green one.
So yeah, I worked on the green one with the tree, and just wanted to get that kind of sense of adventure that we're going for in the story. One of our artists, Christopher Doling, did the design for this dragon, and we got it into T-shirt form. And then the Toothy Cow, he also illustrated that. So really cool.
Yeah.
So good.
So we've got this one. It feels like the good Florida trees. We've got, of course, Lily with a sea dragon on the edge of the cliff there. So cool. And then a Beware the Toothy Cow. One of the cool things with these shirts, which you can't see, folks, is they're the good Bella Canvas nice shirts. And they have on the back of them our company. So, see that?
Very cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're so excited to have these available. One of the things that I want to make sure you guys know is that Angel Studios, our distributor market, they're awesome. Their idea is that all the shows are free for people to watch. So anybody that wants to watch them can hop on the app or TV app, whatever, and watch our show for free. And a way that you get to support the show, so we can keep doing this, is by supporting with buying merch, right? Some of you will get a chance to invest. Not everybody gets a chance to invest. That we can only sell a certain amount, and then we can't do it anymore. But a lot of you will get to go do this. So you can go. That store is open now if you want to go be the first. It's a limited run to start off. We're kind of seeing how many of these you guys want. Which one do you like the best? I'd love to hear in the comments. What's your favorite? What's your favorite shirt? You like the green one? You like Garrett's blue one? He wears it really well, so I get why you might go with that one. Or do you like the
He
Toothy
must work
Cow?
out.
He does. Actually. So intimidating. So yeah, we've got all 3 shirts available. You can go to wingfeathersaga.com/store. Check it out. That's our first merch. That's all we have in there is just the shirts. You can also go, if you're more of an Angel Studios customer, you can go over to the Angel Studios side, shop.angel.com/wingfeather or /WF for Wingfeather, and you can find the store either way. So they both go to the same place. But we're super excited about this. It's our first merch drop, as the kids say.
Yay!
Special thanks to Brock and Craig and the team who've all worked really hard to make these shirts available and get them printed. It's a crazy time to get stuff like this out there. So we've got sizes in adults, women's, and youth. So we have all 3 available if you guys want to grab that. So, thanks, Garrett. Appreciate you jumping on with us. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Love these shirts, man. Good work.
Yeah, it's exciting. Cool.
So, Andrew, we're deep in season 1, as we've been talking about. So, it's a weird space where you and I just watched all the animation for episode 1. It's in post-production. And we're still aiming for... We're going to start talking about our release schedule, but it's looking like December is when we get to start this journey together. Again, we asked earlier if you want to tell us in the comments what your favorite release schedule might be. We're going to announce that here real soon. But we've seen episode 1 animation. We're getting some final out. We're going to see that in a minute. But we've also, you and I have had a chance to see the animatics all the way through to the end of season 1, to the season finale, in fact. And we wanted to take a minute to bring on our episode director, a guy named John Sanford. He's going to pop on here with us. John, are you with us? Hey, there he is.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, man.
Thanks for having me.
I believe you're an artist because of where you're sitting right now. Like, it just has... Look at that. There's so many pens and desks and cool stuff, man.
I have to have all my stuff around me.
John has been working in animation a long time. How many years, John?
Since 93, so 26 or 27 years.
Yeah, that's a good run, man.
Something like
You're
that.
So glad to have you. And so, John, we're working diligently to bring the episodes to life, episode by episode. And John, we were talking about this earlier, but after our live stream last week, we actually got to go watch episode 106, the season finale of season 1. And
that's right.
Man. Andrew, tell a little bit about your reaction to wrapping up kind of the season finale.
Oh, man. Well, I'm amazed at the fact that, when you're watching an animatic, it's just a glorified storyboard. It's very rough. It's not even animated, really. It's just a bunch of cards that are coming up, and most of the voices there are temporary, and so there's all these layers of finesse that get added on top of what you're seeing. It's just the bare bones of the story, and I got a huge lump in my throat watching it, and I was amazed at the fact that, like, in its most basic broken down form, the story was still powerful enough to, like, evoke a real reaction in me. So yeah, man, I just still can't believe we're going to see the finished version of this stuff.
It's amazing. Yeah, and I had the same. How many of you have watched a series that you liked, and then by the time it ended, you loved all of it, right? Like this building story. That's the kind of story we want to tell. And John, I know we've talked a lot about this. Some of our favorite stories that do that. Like, you're sitting like, what am I watching? I kind of don't know where this is going. Like, it creates a lot of curiosity, and then it like unfolds, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's all this importance. We just watched episode 5 just a little bit ago. And it has the same thing. Right. Now we're seeing some action and some cool stuff like that. What are some of your favorite moments so far that you've seen unpack in season 1?
I really loved, like, right out of the gate, I really loved the moment when the dragon pops out of the water, and Lily and Janner and each kid has a separate reaction and connection with that dragon. That that was in the original short, but it really hooked me. That really hooked me. And then as we, I love any moment where the kids are, where Janner and Tink and Lily are starting to figure things out, trying to being a kid and figuring out that there's more to the story of what's going on than our little world. When the world starts to open up. I love those moments when their world starts to open up and you can see them reacting and starting to figure things out. And we just saw a moment in episode 5 where suddenly the world has changed. The world has kind of been swept out from underneath our family, and they're kind of at a loss and they're just kind of at a loss on how to proceed, and just watching how that affects them, and yet how they pull together. Those are my favorite moments.
And this story,
that family pulling together.
It is, yeah. And so much of season one is the family learning about who they are, the kids learning particularly about who they are and what their role in the world, in this world that's broken and has a lot of bad things happening. You know, what should they do? How should they? And this sets up a lot of that. And obviously, we're also already into the second book, right? Into season 2 now in scripting. We started doing outlines and scripts. I can tell you, folks at home, when you see what we've already seen, which is episodes 5 and 6, the end of season 1, you will want us to keep telling the story. You don't want
so much, yes.
Yeah. If you felt that in the short, we heard that, Andrew, right? People watch a short film and they're like, this is what we call serialized storytelling, which is like you wrote the book, Andrew, chapter by chapter, book by book. Keep it coming. What else is going to happen? And I will tell you, you really want us to. So we're in good faith, already working on season 2, putting effort into that, and want to launch that right away, so that we can come back to you real quick with more episodes. So, and we've already seen what's going to happen in season 2, folks. It's the Stranders. It's Dugtown. It's Fingap Falls. It's Trolls. There's so much. There's a fork factory. If you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about, and all of that's in there. It's going to be so great. So on the same turn, while we're looking at season 1 and season 2, we're also seeing post-production. And so, John, you haven't seen this, but we have some special clips just off the press.
Awesome.
Mango literally sent them at 5 this morning. So, folks, when I tell you we're showing you a sneak, I mean it literally just came off. And it's
I haven't seen this yet either.
That we're going to show everybody here.
I can't wait.
Early part of episode 1. This doesn't have sound design. It's not final, but it's pretty good stuff. So I'm going to play you this clip. Here you go.
That looks amazing.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
So, everybody at home, I think we've talked about this quite a bit, but we are definitely building a hand-painted world. These artists are getting to put their art right up on screen, not rendered out of a computer in a weird way that loses that. You're feeling handcrafted, you know. Yeah, it's good-looking stuff.
Man, we've seen that. I've seen that, the actual animation clip of the horse, but everything was gray. What is the name for that? Yeah, it's all gray, and there's no backgrounds. There's these big, like, geometric shapes in the background. So to see it in real world right then was just like goosebumps. That's amazing.
That's the real space. You start adding sound design and some. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So John, thank you for joining us. Obviously, guys, we really want to keep John working, directing these episodes and getting us ready for season 2. If you want to join us, we've opened a Test the Waters is what this is called, by the Security Exchange Commission. It's a pledge campaign. If you want to go visit us at angel.com/wingfeather, you can pledge your support to help us should we make a round 2 available, which, like I said before, I can't tell you exactly when. I'm not allowed to. It's against the law for me to tell you. But I can tell you that we're not allowed to leave except once a year or later. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But we're closing in on $3 million of people that have pledged to make season 2, which is awesome. That'll help us to get all this great crew, keep them together, keep them working, keep them making. It's a great story. So good to see you, John. Thanks for jumping on with us today.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me.
See you later. All right. Last week, Andrew, we previewed some new character designs. Some people have seen these out there because we've been sneaking them out there. This week we've got another round to look at, and so we're going to bring back Garrett and Nicholas Cole. Garrett, our art director, and Nicholas Cole, a character designer. Hey, there he is. What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Howdy. Nicholas has been with us since the short film, helped with a ton of the production design and character design and really setting all in motion. And coming back to help us some more. And then Garrett's been leading the charge in all our art direction and making awesome stuff as well. So today, we'll probably look at a couple characters we haven't seen. So Garrett, you want to take it away? We can start looking at maybe Zuzab. Look at him.
So we've got a team of character designers that also do prop design as well, and It's a small team. This actually was done by Aiden Peterson. So this is Andrew's son who designed this guy. We read about these characters in the books, and we all picture something different in our heads. It was interesting to see, we had various rounds of drawings for this guy, for Zuzab, and everybody kind of had a different idea of what Zuzab was. And so it really took getting back to Andrew and picking his brain on what he had pictured for this character. We had folks that thought he was a little bit more monkey-like, a little bit more elf-like, and either a creature or a small person. And so you can see here where he ended up, which is just, it's kind of elfish.
Andrew, he's a Ridge Runner, Andrew. So talk about what, in your mind, a Ridge Runner, because this is a particular Ridge Runner named Zuzab, but talk about, in your mind.
The Ridge Runners are a race of smallish people, and they live in on the edges of the Green Hollows and the Kill Ridge Mountains, and they're kind of like they're completely neutral characters. Like they're not like on Nag's team, and they're not like on the good guys team. All they care about is fruit, and so their whole backstory is that they're race of people, like they sneak out of the mountains and into the orchards of the Green Hollows and steal their fruit. So there's been this ancient animosity between the people of the Green Hollows and the Ridge Runners. And when Nag the Nameless invaded Scree and kind of upended everything, and there were people all over the place and exiles and that kind of thing, he conscripted quite a few Ridge Runners to kind of do his bidding. The Ridge Runners were basically bought with fruit, and they weren't always doing bad things. They're just kind of doing what they'll work for whoever's got the fruit. And so Oscar Nosferteep ended up befriending Zuzab, and he's this little guy that lives and works in the bookstore, and Oscar just kind of like keeps pumping him full of fruit. So that's kind of it. They're humanoid, but they're not humans. They're not really elves. They're their own thing, man.
That's right. And Nicholas, I think you took some cracks at Zuzab in sketching designs back in the day, yeah?
Yeah, when I was doing Oscar, the most creaturey take is definitely mine, and I definitely had a very clear picture of them in the books as being quite crittery and kind of creaturey, and part of that sort of more kind of part of the what's it called, the bestiary that we have, the
Creaturepedia.
Part of the Creaturepedia, yeah, exactly. At home among the thwaps and toothy cows. So it was a tough sort of like gear shift, especially when you have such a clear vision from the books of what you definitely think and envisioned, to kind of take that on board and be like, okay, maybe not, so.
Yeah, so what's really interesting.
The sketches there, are those running sketches? Are those Aiden?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
Those
Aiden.
are great. Yeah, those are cool.
And what's been fun is, as we've been doing this, we've been doing Fan Art Friday on the socials, and folks are kind of submitting their ideas about what they think some of these characters look like and how they behave. It's been fun. You took the challenge, though, Nicholas, of designing Oscar officially. We had some imagery of him, but we didn't get to see him yet. And so I believe this image of Oscar that we had, here, can we go back to that guy, is yours, which actually included a Zuzab on the side, too. There he is. Look at this guy. So tell us about.
It looks like somebody went in and completed the turntable as well. Is that Aiden, or
Yeah?
Do we know who?
Yeah, actually. So yeah, we get our precious time from Nicholas Cole. So we have him, do these key sketches on his iPad, which are just amazing, and then let him go back to bigger things. And so this one we handed off to actually Naomi, who was able to do the turnaround and the color call out. Which I think she handled well. Like, she kept that warmth that you had in your sketches.
He's so sweet. I love Naomi did a great job, especially on that front view. His little expression there in his pose is lovely. Yeah, I got to do Oscar's one of the characters I got to do also as one of the book covers for the the Tales book. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think actually, Andrew, if memory serves, way back when I first came out to Hutchmoot, I think I did a sketch of Oscar on a
You
scrap of
did.
paper. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Did you grab that from me?
I did. I think I have it. I do think I have it. And I remember I was reading a passage from Wingfeather Tales, maybe, from a short story, and it described Oscar kind of running, kind of trying to escape these bad guys, and his hair flying back behind him. And after I finished my reading, you just kind of like slipped me this piece of paper where you'd sketched what I'd been describing. And I was like, can I put that in the book? And you're like, sure. So it made its way into the book.
Yeah.
Your doodle showed up
moment.
there. Somehow you really know how to embody Oscar Nasserteep. I don't know what's going on there, but you know how to do it.
He's just whenever I have like a spare moment and an empty canvas, I just draw old dudes with big eyebrows and little spectacles, and it's the project of my life to grow into one eventually. So that's the plan.
Yeah, you got the stash.
But, got the stash going, for sure. He's such a like wonderful, lovable, sort of awkward character in the books, and the way he's written is just has this like charm that I immediately identified as like, oh, I'm really excited to bring him to life, and I know exactly in my head kind of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then actually in your study, Andrew, I saw that sketch of G.K. Chesterton that you had hanging up. And that stuck in my mind so much when I got the task to finally like capture Oscar for the cover of the book and then for the series. And I was like, I need to find that. And I looked at, G.K. Chesterton caricatures and rigged through Google to try and find the one that you had hanging up specifically. But that was like a major
that makes me so
inspiration
happy. I don't think I realized that, but he is a very Chestertonian character, isn't he?
For sure, yeah, definitely. He has this little like flyaway bit of hair.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's so good. Well done.
Yeah.
So, Garrett, we also have a couple more characters. In particular, one that. There it is. I found it.
There he is.
Old art.
So good.
Oh no.
So fun.
That's great.
Oscar's been seen a number of times, but that's from Wingfeather Tales. So we also have Armelin. Armelin the Bard, a traveling bard who kind of travels around Scree telling stories of Anira and the Shining Isle. And we had some takes on him here.
Yeah, so these are all done by Naomi, one of our character artists. These are this one actually took a while. There was sometimes she was getting really close with some of her other characters with just 1 or 2 rounds, and I feel like this guy took 3 or 4 to kind of dial him in, and then even more once we got to modeling. But and
a lot of that because he's based on a real person. So Andrew, you want to tell us Armelin, where this guy's from?
Yeah. So Armelin the Bard is described as this raspy-voiced traveling bard who's barefoot, kind of has a slightly vagabond look about him, and he sings songs about a faraway place that he's never been. And so the astute reader who knows anything about me will know that I'm a huge Rich Mullins fan. And so I named him R. Mullen as a play on Rich Mullins, R. Mullen. So R. Mullen the Bard is my little tribute to my songwriting hero. And it's been so funny over the years to have people like email me and say, and the way you described R. Mullen the Bard makes it seem like he's kind of this Rich Mullins tribute character. And I was like, well, his name is R. Mullen. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice. So anyway, yeah, it was pretty fun to kind of like have him loosely look like a version of Rich Mullins. Pretty awesome.
So good.
Yeah, but hard to get that likeness and not just be a photorealistic character. So I think she did a good job balancing it and finding that in-world look.
Yes. Oh, did we lose Chris again? We lost our fearless leader.
Let's move on to one more character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mayor Blagus is the next guy. Can you show us what you got on Mayor Blagus? So I can talk a little bit about this guy. That's such a great picture. Mayor Blagus is like the town mayor, who obviously is kind of like a puppet mayor because he has no authority since the Fangs showed up. And so he's this kind of pompous, bloviated guy who isn't a bad guy, but He's kind of like trying to thread the needle between holding on to his status as mayor and also serving the Fangs of Dang who are in charge. And so I remember he took quite a while to find, but that's what we ended up with. Who did that one, Garrett?
So yeah, that first image you saw was by one of our artists, CJ, who did some initial exploration, and then Aiden Peterson, your son, ended up doing the final design here. And so
that's so cool.
The kind of the trajectory I think that we ended up going with was this kind of this Western mayor. He's been serving as mayor in an occupied town for the last 9 years, and so any of his kind of self-confidence comes from within, and everything on the outside shows that he's not getting any better treatment. And so he's got this dirty outfit, and switch to that final image. He's got that dirty clothes and patches and, dust and whatnot on him.
Yeah. Ryan, can you pull up the other one? Can you pull up the other drawing, Ryan?
Maybe not.
There he is.
There we go. Yeah. So he's, he hasn't even shaven, and he's just got this real. Okay, cool. And he's just got this really funny, lack of a chin, and I don't know. He looks like someone I've met before, which is great.
He totally. He looks like a guy who's had a hard time, doesn't he?
Like I mentioned, my internet. So I think I'm gonna have a router melting down here in a few minutes. We'll see what happens.
Oh boy,
it's pretty bad. So sorry about that, guys. But thank you for keeping chatting. You guys are great. This is awesome. He's such an interesting villain. I know, Nicholas, we talked a little bit back in the day about Magus. Like, he's this ultimately a politician, right? Like, kind of red tape. Like, he's always trying to work both sides of the aisle. He's trying to be a friend of the Fangs and a friend of the Glipwood people, but he's got kids, and it's just like it's a mixed bag, right? This character. So it's cool to see him come to life.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Well, we didn't do much with Poto or Pete. Pete the Sockman was such a great design. We just kind of kept him going. And Poto, close that your work on him, he's great. And so those guys are staying around for season 2. So it's fun to see these other ones come to life, though.
I remember
Garrett?
Pete had a really tricky design to land when we were trying to figure him out too. Actually, right? He was one of those. We each had a different idea in our head of what it looked like, and I think at one point there was like a question of like which human actor would be cast as him, and I think that Chris, you were like David Tennant was kind of a good fit for Pete.
That was one of them, and then there was this. Yeah. It was also the guy who played Desmond in Lost. His name's Henry Ian Cusick. I was like, it was a combination of David Tennant and Desmond from Lost. I was like, that's the guy that I want to design.
That was such a good way of like turning a light bulb on in the process.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting character because in season 1 he's a clown character for a big portion of it, right? He's just some weird guy from town. Who cares? And then to unfold into something else, right? And we start to understand that he's got more to play in the story. Definitely.
Cool.
All right. Well, Nicholas and thanks for saying hey to us. It's good to see you guys jump on and talk more about our casting.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Thanks.
All right, Andrew. Should we go to part 2 of casting? You ready to start?
Let's do it, man. I think we've got a good setup, right?
We're going to set up some really cool characters that you have not seen and actors that are joining our project. So without any further ado, part 2 of casting for Wingfeather Saga Season 1. In so good to see you in the booth. Congratulations on being cast in our show. We're so glad to have you.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to be here. In fact, I'm glad to be anywhere. He's very obsequious and ingratiating, and he's a bit of a Uriah Heep. It's almost, there's a wonderful phrase called sinister benevolence.
You summoned young Master Igiby?
We are so excited to have you joining us.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Have you ever done anything like this before, Dave? No. Yeah, I was telling a friend today at lunch, it's my weird life. I remember when we had the other guys audition for this thing, I was like, I just want him to sound like an Indiana farm boy. If only we could find somebody with that accent, and there you are.
My, don't you all look beautiful? Well, most of you anyway. Fangs are ugly.
Gentle folk of Screen, welcome to Clipwood's annual Dragon Day. We are truly indebted to our brave and magnanimous hosts whose presence here is ever present.
And it is a privilege to have you.
No. I've never done this before, so this is all new to me. Thank you very much for having me. And now with this great team, please keep me right. So
we will, absolutely.
We had gone down the list of potential actors for this thing. We were late in the game, and I texted in. I was like, "Hey Ned, I just remembered Desmond from Lost. Is Henry Ian Cusick? Like, can we reach out to just as kind of like a a last pass in the game kind of thing?" And so it's just delightful to me that this worked out.
Watching your character on Lost, you go and going, this is guy who's balancing this heroic, romantic, whatever, and this like mentally like troubled guy.
I saw the drawing. I thought that's me.
It's weird. Yeah, that's odd.
Keep them safe. I will. Get up. Go. We go.
Kevin, welcome to the Wingfeather Saga. We are so glad to have you playing the role of Poto.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Andrew has been reading this voice for many years, so he's ready for a competition to see if you can sound more piratey than he does.
Okay, well, I've got a bit of a head start on him, but I'm sure he's capable of giving me a good run for my money.
You're a bit of an ex-pirate yourself, I guess, yeah?
I'm a bit of an expert pirate, actually. So I think I can bring something to Poto. I love that back and forth pulling that a character has in what he wants to do and what he can do.
For the last time I have any say in it. Straight off the cliff, a lot of them.
Grandpa!
Fine, I'll let him live. Barely.
How about that?
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
So fun.
Charlotte and Heather are still over here, and they're just as excited.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Can you believe that we got these fine people?
I can't believe it, Chris. I just have one question for you.
Oh yeah, what is that?
What about Oscar Nosratip? Did we find anyone to voice Oscar, the bookseller? You know.
Andrew, I totally forgot. We got to get Oscar in here. What are we going to do? We got to find somebody.
Find someone who can pull off the voice of a person who cares about books. Oh, good heavens!
Yeah, it was just really hard to find anybody who could do this. So,
really,
who did we find, Chris? Let's roll it. Can we go ahead and roll it?
Oh, Janna, my boy, as the great poet and not-so-great circus performer Adderley Flameswallow's head, I could maybe use some help.
Well, I can come back tomorrow. We're kind of in a hurry to get to Dragon Day.
Dragon Day, exactly. I'm putting these books in the window to sell to festival goers. All of them about sea dragons.
Do any of them say why Dragon Song makes people act so...
odd, silly, discombobulated?
Oh yeah, Mayor Blaggets couldn't stop crying for a week.
Oh, not only that. He was so deeply moved by the song, he promised to never again pick his nose in public.
I'm pretty sure that didn't work.
He made it almost 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Yes! Andrew saying yes.
That was fun.
I love your version. We've all listen to audiobooks of you doing this and live stream reads, and I love your Oscar so much. Thank you for saying yes and doing this.
Yeah,
he is fantastic. We love him.
Man,
so
it was a lot of
well
fun.
done. So we've got a ton of really cool actors. Tell me about your reaction to this. I mean, and we should probably explain David Mullins. You want to tell us about him?
Yeah, so David has become a friend. He's Rich Mullins' younger brother, and he's a pastor in East Tennessee, and really wonderful guy, great family. And after Rich died, I guess David kind of, took on the burden of kind of being a spokesperson almost for the family, and he would show up at different things that he was invited to when people would ask him to be present and kind of represent Rich Mullins or his family. And so it's an interesting thing, because I almost felt bad asking, because I'm like, he's not Rich Mullins, he's his own man, but he just looks so much like Rich, and he talks so much like Rich. And I was like, kind of bashfully texted him, and I was like, hey man, this is kind of weird, but would you consider doing this? And man, he knocked it out of the park. It's so cool, because it sounds just like Rich Mullins when he's talking.
It really does. And then Zuzab, obviously, is a super experienced voice actor and brought so much charm to that. Adam Seitz with Mayor Blagus could not be happier with kind of where that character developed into. And then ultimately, Henry Ian Cusick, Ian, as his friends call him, he said. Was that the coolest thing?
Oh man, I was losing my mind. It was funny. We were watching Lost while I was writing the Wingfeather Saga, right? So that show was kind of like coming out on a regular basis. I remember actually having to not watch episodes of Lost. We'd have to DVR it, I think, because back then it was pre-Netflix or something. And I was like, I can't watch Lost tonight because I got to work on my book. And so Ian was the guy that I had in my mind as Pete the Sockman. He was like an inspiration for the character, because he had this sadness about him, and he was mentally struggling, but he kind of has those bird-like features. And so, man, it is just the most surreal thing to be able to be like, well, amazing. The guy that inspired the character is playing him in the show. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and he just had so much fun getting into this character. So if you guys read the books, you know that character is complicated. There's a lot going on, and he really wanted to get into that. We referenced he's the kind of mentally unstable and yet heroic and romantic. It's like there's a lot happening, and Ian was just thrilled to embrace all of it. And it was his first voice acting gig, which we couldn't believe. It's so exciting for us. And then we heard Kevin was interested, McNally, and you guys probably know him most as Gibbs from the Pirates of the Caribbean, and he knows a bit about playing ex-pirates, that sort of thing, and really wonderful actor. And actually, Andrew, we recorded a little something with him in the booth that he just brought so much power to it, and so we have a clip of some animation. So again, it's not final animation, but it's a little something that we want to show you guys to introduce you a little more to Kevin.
So, Shaggy, what's the news?
News? Well, it's our 9th Dragon Day under the slimy boots of these fangs. And I'm feeling it. In me creaky knees, mostly. Barely rolled up.
I meant news from the world.
I've heard things, Podo. Dark things.
Dark how?
Dark like ships with black sails going into the Foob Islands. Dark like trolls on the move in the Linard Woodlands.
No one can fight the fangs.
No one can? Or no one will?
Well, I mean...
It ends when someone finds the spine to do something about it. That's when.
And where is your spine, old-timer?
Keeping me upright.
Oh, it's so cool, isn't it? I love that scene so much.
So you and I have seen the animation of that, but putting Kevin in there, it's like I want to watch him. He's so intimidating.
Yeah.
And so
it's so cool the way that he the animators are even pulled him kind of stroking his beard a little bit and that kind of stuff. Man, he's so good. And the crazy thing is, as soon as I saw, pretty much everybody's seen the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, you know. And when I kind of was like, wait a minute, Joshua Gibbs, I know him from those movies. And I looked it up and I saw him and I was like, that's Poto. Yeah, in those movies, he just looks so much like I imagined Poto to look. So, gosh, like, you know, most of the voice actors we've had, like, you know, they've had to work to find the voice, you know, of the character a little bit. There's been like, you know, can you do it a little higher or whatever they find. And man, he just started talking and it was like, well, there's Poto. All right.
And he, you know, we talked about his accent and you know, that we wanted, and he's placing him a little, he's a British actor, so he's placing him Americana, that we talked about that a little bit, which that was kind of fun to explore.
Very fun. Like, because it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like there's this loose correlation between Scree and the Americas and kind of Dang and Anira, and that is like British Isles in Europe, that kind of stuff. And so I like the fact that Glibwood opens up on what it looks something like a combination of the Old West and also the part of Florida that I spent most of my youth in. So big live oak trees or like Glibwood trees, that kind of thing. And so I think Kevin kind of picked up on that. And he was like, I kind of want him to be an American pirate. So he softened his pirate accent a little bit, gave a little bit of an American accent, which makes sense in the world because the kids have an American accent, right? So the Screean accent basically is an American accent. And so Nia has a slight Irish kind of lilt, you know, because she's from the Green Hollows. So I just love that he picked up on the fact that, like, we want to keep these accents consistent in the world.
That's right, yeah. And he even said, hey, I want to be clear, I don't want to do Gibbs again. I'm like, no, we don't want Gibbs, we want Poto. And he just brought Poto to life. And is intimidating and strong and kind of, he's amazing. He's also so tender. So, you know, his relationship with Lily is really sweet, and he's bringing this emotional connection that is really wonderful. And can't wait for the rest of you guys to get to hear him. But so glad to have Kevin. He made this comment, you remember when he came back in the booth about talking to his son about our project? Do you know what this was?
Yeah, he said, I think his son had asked what the project was that he was doing. He was like, well, I'm not really sure. It's I think he called it a daft cartoon. He thought he was just kind of doing a cartoon. And then he got in the studio and started reading the script, and he was just like, I am so happy that, like, it's not that. He was like, there's a depth to it, and the characters are layered characters. They're not flat. And, you know, I kind of told him, here's Poto's backstory. This is why he doesn't like the sea dragons. This is why blah, blah, blah. And he kind of like, you could feel him kind of like go, oh, this is not the project that I thought I was auditioning for, you know?
That's right. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's so intimidating. Ah. Yeah.
He just
He's
looks
awesome.
like Poto. Yeah. So great.
That's good. And, you know, I think it's an interesting question people have asked a fair amount about Wingfeather Saga, Andrew, is what's that age group, right? And I think the story we're telling in the series is one that is PG-13, right? There's peril, there's real challenges, there's real loss that's going to happen. There's going to be some fighting.
PG, yeah.
It's definitely not a G-rated
like, yeah, and if you've read the books, you know, like there's so many people that, you know, if their kids aren't quite ready, they'll read the first chapter of book one and they'll be like, oh yeah, well, wait a minute here, you know. It kind of depends on the family, but yeah, there's definitely a lot that's going on internally and externally in these stories. And so it's kind of fun to play against that because it's an animated show and it's got toothy cows and kind of silly stuff in it. And at the same time, there's this like real, we wanted the world to feel real. So the stakes would feel real, you know?
That's right. We talk a lot about Princess Bride in that space, right? But Princess Bride has some pretty intense fighting, right? There's some stabbing, right? There's some but it's funny, but then he's being attacked by an ROUS, right? So like I think in the same space for us, there's real peril. And we're seeing some of that now as the season's progressed. Oh, music's overlooked, says David. Oh, don't you worry. Music is not
wait.
We just haven't gotten to it yet. It's just chapter by chapter, y'all. Slow down.
Yeah.
So anyways, we so excited about our cast, and we've got more to show you. There's still some cast we haven't gotten to yet, and we will get that to you soon. We've got another live stream coming up. If you're not following us on our socials, so whether that's YouTube or on the socials, please do that. And if you're not getting emails from us about when we're doing this, go hop on wingfeathersaga.com, and you can get signed up for an email from us. All right, so to recap, showed off our brand new shirts. We've got 3 different shirts available right now. If you want to support our show and get you a cool shirt, we'd love that. We've got a very limited run of these, our first run, so just be gentle. But there's 3 different ones. We're so excited. You can go to shop.angel.com/WF for Wingfeather or wingfeathersaga.com/store. Either one will take you to the same spot, and you can check out our new shirts. We're hoping to have more stuff added to that in the coming weeks. So it's the beginning, Andrew. It's the very beginning. Are going to set our premiere date very soon. So keep an eye out. We are excited to set our premiere date and then our release schedule. So you'll be able to put it on your calendar when we're doing this. And of course, we talked about this quite a bit, but we are so excited about season 2. Andrew and I have gotten to see all the episodes in season 1 in some form or another. And trust us, you really want us to continue. But we don't get to do this without your support. So if you want to pledge some support, we are a crowd-source-funded production. And if you want to be a part of that journey and have a chance, should we make shares available again like we did last year, go out to angel.com/wingfeather. We are going to cross over $3 million in pledge money that we're so thankful for. That's helping us to Andrew and I are literally right in this, where we're turning to people and saying, hey, I want to keep you on board and keep hiring, but we have to be able to pay them, right? They're people who work and have families. And so that's coming from you guys as we're getting ready to release this show. Lewis, thank you for jumping in there with us for $500 in North Carolina. I appreciate that. Every one of these, it's the coolest thing to have people who are just like a part of our journey, right? They're like, they got a brick in our building. And investors, there's nearly 8,000 of you. Thank you so much for giving us a chance to do this. Andrew and I worked for a long time with a lot of the big networks saying no. If you don't know our story on that, pay attention. We're going to be releasing more of that story to kind of fill you in of 6 years, now 7, of all the majors saying no, they don't want our kind of story, a fantasy that's imbued with kind of redemptive storylines. But you gave us a chance. You guys are the reason. So thank you so much.
Very, very thankful. Yes.
This has been a big day. A lot of cool stuff here. We've still got more to show, so we'll do another one of these very soon. I know we've got some travel. You're headed over to the UK here shortly.
It's in about a month. Yeah, something like that for our Rabbit Room UK Hutchmoot conference that we're going to be doing. Yep, which is pretty fun.
Very cool.
Still doing shows here and there. It's just very busy, but in between, there's all this Wingfeather stuff happening. It's a blast.
Every day, yeah. Next, you and I get to listen to the mix because post-production is in, so we can listen to the mix for episode 1. It's pretty amazing.
So exciting.
Thank you all for joining us today, and thanks for putting up with our crazy technology gaps here and there. Sorry about that. A little stuttered.
I hope you get your air conditioner fixed very soon, Chris Wall.
It's still, last I checked, 91 in this room right now.
Oh, dude, you got to get out of there.
It's so bad. Thank you all for joining today, and we will see you again real soon. Take care.
Thanks, y'all.